Einen schönen guten Tag, liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen. Mein Name ist Gerald Bast, ich bin der Rektor der Angewandten und eigentlich freue ich mich wahnsinnig, so viele physisch zu sehen, auch wenn das Setting höchst ungewöhnlich ist. Das geht Ihnen wahrscheinlich genauso wie mir. Man freut sich, viele Menschen wieder in Natura zu sehen, ohne Screen dazwischen. Und trotzdem ist es nicht so wie in früheren Jahren. Dennoch, Sie haben jetzt eine neue Phase Ihres Lebens und ich will da gar nicht so viel pathetische Worte beanspruchen. Es ist aber ein neuer Abschnitt und es gibt zwei Dinge oder vielleicht drei, die ich Ihnen mitgeben möchte heute. Das eine: Genießen Sie diese Phase, diese Jahre, die Sie hier an der Universität verbringen werden, mit Kolleginnen und Kollegen, mit Lehrenden. Es ist ein Privileg, das machen zu können. Es ist immer noch ein Privileg, auch in Österreich eine Universität zu besuchen. Und auch wenn wir, gerade diese Universität, immer wieder bildungspolitisch darauf hinweisen, dass mehr Leute in Österreich und auf der Welt ein Studium brauchen, ist es immer noch so, dass es eine Minderheit ist. Das heißt, es ist ein Privileg, dass Sie hier an dieser Universität studieren können, Ihren Wünschen, Ihren Sehnsüchten nachgehen können, Erfolge feiern können, scheitern können, auch ganz ein wichtiges Erlebnis, und dann wieder Erfolge feiern. Und das gehört zum Aufbau einer Persönlichkeit und das gehört auch zum Aufbau einer Gesellschaft dazu. Das führt mich zum Zweiten: Es ist nicht nur ein Privileg, sondern es ist auch eine Verpflichtung. Das, was Sie hier machen, ist nicht nur etwas, das für Sie von Wichtigkeit ist, für Sie persönlich, für die nächsten Jahrzehnte von entscheidender Bedeutung sein wird, was Sie hier tun, sondern es ist auch ganz wichtig für eine Gesellschaft. Das, was Sie hier ausüben dürfen, erproben, erlernen, in Frage stellen, das ist etwas, was die Gesellschaft formt, und dazu werden Sie beitragen, mit Ihrem Wissen, mit Ihrem Können und mit Ihren Zweifeln, die Sie haben und die Sie hoffentlich in diesen Jahren in der Lage sein werden, zu zivilisieren, in richtige Bahnen zu lenken. Zweifel ist etwas, was notwendig ist. Wer keine Zweifel hat, ist dumm. Und die Domäne der Gewissheit ist die Domäne der Demagogen. Das sollten Sie sich immer vor Augen halten. Und das Dritte, was ich Ihnen mitgeben möchte, neben dem Aufruf, diese Jahre zu genießen, die Möglichkeiten an dieser Universität, und sie sind sehr umfangreich, und Vizerektor für Lehre wird das dann über Videozuspielung Ihnen alles erklären, was alles möglich ist an dieser Universität. Und das Zweite, für die Gesellschaft Ihre Tätigkeit auch ein Puzzlestein zu sehen. Und das Dritte ist, in diesen Tagen, in diesen Monaten, seien Sie vorsichtig. Das hat nichts mit Alarmismus zu tun, das hat etwas mit Vernunft zu tun. Wir haben an dieser Universität wie auch an anderen Universitäten bestimmte Regeln aufgestellt, die auf der einen Seite sicherstellen sollen und werden, dass ein Studium und möglichst umfangreich ein Präsenzstudium an dieser Universität möglich ist, die aber auf der anderen Seite auch das Risiko einer Ansteckung minimieren. Man kann Risiken nie völlig ausschließen. Es geht darum, mit Risiken umzugehen, diese zu minimieren und in die richtige Dimension zu rücken. Das heißt, beachten Sie die Regeln, die diese Universität vorgegeben hat, dann steht nichts im Wege, in den nächsten Jahren ein Erlebnis hier zu haben, das Sie wahrscheinlich Ihr Leben lang und hoffentlich im Positiven gemeint nicht vergessen werden. Ich wünsche Ihnen alles Gute, viel Erfolg, viel Freude, viel Zweifel und viel gemeinsames Erleben. Alles Gute.
So, ich schalte mich jetzt auf den Screen.
So, das ist jetzt aufregend. Könnt ihr mich hören und sehen? Dann würde ich um ein kurzes Winkezeichen bitten.
Yes.
Super, okay. Bevor ich anfange, who in the room cannot understand me speaking German? Please give a sign. Okay, there are some people. Is it okay, is somebody here who cannot follow if I do this in English? Okay, this doesn't seem to be the case. So, a warm welcome from my part, the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs and Development. Yeah, this format is a bit special for you, but for me as well. I can see you thanks to a camera on the stage. We're doing a lot of things we never did before, and this is one of them. I'm waiting for my COVID test result at the moment, so I cannot leave my home, although I no longer feel sick, and I'm sure I don't have COVID, but the regulation is I need to wait for my result. So I think we will have to make the best of this special format. Before I start, thank you to Jakob Siegel, our technician, who made this possible without any preparation time, and we still worked on it while Rector Bast was speaking. So I think this is an applause for Jakob Siegel. Thank you. And then I have to thank all of you because I think also the registration process, the admission process was a bit of a challenge because we did it also for the first time in online mode, which we established in some weeks during the summer. This is a challenge for the staff in the Department for Student Affairs, but also I think it was a challenge for you as things went slower than we hoped for, because also some of my colleagues worked from home with not so good internet connection as at Angewandte. So you see, there are a lot of things at the moment that are somehow a compromise. And it's like Rector Bast said, it's a compromise between minimizing the risk that many of us get infected and that we need to shut down the university as we did in last semester, and between working as best as we can within these conditions. And there will be difficult situations throughout the semester, I'm afraid. And there will be some mistakes made, and we will need some tolerance from all parts. Also, the official Angewandte, so to say, will be tolerant and respect that in this crazy situation, also from your side, we cannot expect that everything just functions as we would expect. So compromise, I think, is the word of the semester, at least. If you experience any difficulties and you need help, please just talk to us. Maybe you will not get a response within a very quick response, but you will get a response. And we will also establish a chat group for first-year students. So although the possibilities in reality are a bit restricted this semester for exchange, you will have the possibility to exchange between us, between yourselves in this chat room. Okay, I will give you a bit of a presentation, overview on Angewandte. This should be now visible on the screen. Yeah, could you just nod if you can see the presentation? Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so I start. I give you some context of the Angewandte because independent from what you study, it's good to know what else is there, especially because Angewandte is a university where there can be a lot of contact between the different study programs to the benefit of everybody. Some words on Angewandte for the first place. Angewandte is a university that takes its social responsibility, its responsibility towards society very seriously. So the question is, what must a university in times like these, and I'm not only talking about COVID, of course, but also about climate change, migration, all these big issues we are facing. So what must a university do? What can it contribute in order to tackle these challenges? So since 2000, in this sometimes chaotic world, Angewandte is working on ways of responding as an institution. And this was also made the key element of the development plan of Angewandte. It's like, wir wenden Zukunft an, somehow a paradoxical statement, but means that the future is somehow a leading element for what we're doing. And this is true for all the fields of Angewandte, for all study programs, although there are some newer ones that explicitly address global challenges, like the study program of cross-disciplinary strategies or social design, arts as urban innovation, but also in fine arts or in design. You just need to look at the graduation works, for instance, as you can on the Angewandte Festival homepage, and you will notice that a lot of work just addresses these topics with sometimes intriguing solutions, surprising solutions, ideas. So this is some sort of common topic. The vision of Angewandte is twofold. One is, as I said, dedicated to contribute to a positive changing of our society, because change takes place. We can only try to make it as most a positive one as we can. And the other part is that Angewandte also sees itself as a role model, and therefore we try to also work on how we do things inside, like how we work together, how we handle diversity, how we go for sustainable solutions in all fields of work. We believe in shared responsibility, and this also includes you a lot, because there is a shared responsibility between teachers and students concerning, of course, your study progress, but also concerning how Angewandte works. There is this shared responsibility between teachers and support staff, between university leaders and university members. And we also try as good as we can to make also the government aware that we want to share responsibility with them. And we also want them to take up their responsibility, which again, in COVID times, turns out especially difficult. Angewandte spaces, you know this building, it's a traditional building on the ring. In the last years, there was a big renovation project. And now, as you are here in Vorderholzstraße, I'm not, but I know the building, of course. We have some spectacular new possibilities also concerning the working together, because it's a very transparent, open building, and you can easily connect to other departments, meet them, respecting the distance and the masks if necessary, on the corridors, etc. And for the next year, we face the challenge to also work with another new building. Maybe you read it in the news, the Postsparkasse building, which is just on the other side of the Ringstraße by Otto Wagner, will partially also become part of the Angewandte. And especially this Kassenhalle room will also get a new function, allowing art, science, and society to meet and collaborate. Few words on the study programs. There are different formats of study programs. Diploma programs from all who are not from Austria. In Austria, we had diploma programs as the normal format of study programs before the bachelor-master system was introduced. And our traditional study programs, we tried to keep them in this diploma program logic, because this allows a longer path of studying without this separation in doing a bachelor's and doing a master's degree. So there are these study programs. I think I will not read them out now, but you can just see what kind of study range there is between fine arts and design, conservation and restoration. And then we have other programs within the bachelor master's logic. This is partially due to the case that if we establish a new study program, it can only be in the format of bachelor's and master's. So the art education program is offered in bachelor and master. The before mentioned program of cross-disciplinary strategies is one of these. Language arts and trans arts, which is another form to study fine arts in a very open way. Our master programs are in the field of architecture. Notable is that architecture is not offered at Angewandte on bachelor's level, so only students from other universities who already did the bachelor's degree can come to Angewandte. Art and science bridges disciplines from the arts and from the sciences. Art education we already talked about. Social design, arts as urban innovation is a very project-based study program, open to graduates from, in fact, all prior studies. Just to know, I have two monitors, so if I look away from you, this means I'm looking at my presentation monitor. So this is not because I'm impolite. And we start with 4 new study programs this year, 2 joint master programs, one in the field of conservation and restoration, one in the field of global challenges. Both will be challenging because of the traveling restrictions and the uncertainties, as we do not know. Both are starting in summer semester, and we do not know yet how the world will look like by then. Yeah, and the language arts master program will start, and also a program which is a scientific study program called Studies in Art and Culture. Yeah, that is also open to a broader range of prior studies. And if after that you still not have enough of the Angewandte, there are also possibilities to go for a doctoral program, 3 possible degrees in the field of sciences, and 1 artistic research PhD program, which is at the moment quite limited due to resources, but will perhaps also grow a bit during the next years. The students. We have around 1,600 regular students, in fact a bit more due to the new study programs, and around 130 non-regular students, like in postgraduate courses or single courses. Around 35% will be abroad during their studies, if not totally different because of COVID. But if you look around in the room, 1/3 of you statistically will go abroad, either within Europe in the context of the Erasmus program, or to one of our non-European partners in Asia, in America, and also this network is growing. The graduates. What we strive for, and again, this is not true for one specific study program, but in general. Studying at Angewandte should help you to become critical and creative thinkers. So you'll be able to act beyond given pathways. You will learn a variety of knowledge, of techniques, concepts, and different media, and you will be able, hopefully, to apply this to whatever goal you're up to. You will be collaborators. Working in the field of arts more and more is not a lonesome story, but requires collaboration and mutual trust. Maybe you will be visionaries. And because of all this, you should also have the chance to become pillars of a democratic society, a society being well informed, being capable of co-designing society. When you compare this, interestingly, this is from the World Economic Forum, what kind of competencies are needed for the 21st century, then in the core of what we do, like for centuries, you can say, 153, I think, years, this is like in the core of what becomes more and more important for the society as a whole. And of course, you will have acquired some very specific skills and capabilities dependent on what program you study. So the question is how to study. And of course, there are a lot of rules. There is a curriculum for each study program. It's maybe in the beginning a bit frightening, the curriculum document, but I can recommend to go through it at least once. Because then you just know also the formal side of the study program, and not only what you are told by teachers, by colleagues. In parallel to this formal side of your study program, I can only encourage you to make use of a lot of free space that is offered by Angewandte as good as you can. So by forming working groups, by connecting to the Students' Union, by also engaging in bodies that are responsible for changing the university. There are committees for curriculum changes. When new professors are appointed, students have a say. And there is the Academic Senate, where all the big questions Angewandte faces are discussed. So these are some opportunities you can make use of. And especially if you are interested to learn more about the formal bodies, the Students' Union is your first address to go, because they nominate the students who then work there. Yeah, be yourself and be aware of what you want and why you came to Angewandte, why you underwent all the efforts to prepare a portfolio for the entrance examination, why you wanted the place for studying that you got now. And don't forget this, facing all the opportunities and all the other people doing fascinating things. So it's only you who can be mainly responsible for your specific purpose and for what you want to get out of it. Because then, I think in the beginning when you come to Angewandte, you could perceive the university as sort of a maze. There are a lot of spaces, a lot of different small worlds, logics. Also the workshops, the central workshops, but also a lot of departments have individual workshops, offer a lot of possibilities. And it's a good thing to just discover, explore. There are tours offered, there are colleagues who can help. But still, do not forget where you want to go and try to keep your path, even if the path changes. This is also something that will happen. You have your initial goals, and I think they will also change the more and more you learn about the possibilities. But this can also be sort of a reflective process in how your goals adjust or not. We're coming to a close. Acting international. Yeah. In times of COVID, this is some question mark, but still, international partnerships play an important role, especially in the field of arts. Work and collaboration is globally. We also try to have and gain new partners in the global south. So not only in the usual Western world, but also together with the global south, and with completely different perspectives there sometimes. There are a lot of joint arts and research projects. Results are exhibited regularly. International conferences sometimes that take place at Angewandte, where also students can join. Sometimes they can also join within the context of a regular course and then produce some papers on the conference. We have an international artist in residence program. And depending on the person who comes, they offer also different teaching and opportunities. And Angewandte itself is part of international umbrella organizations trying to reflect on the future role of art universities and so on. Language is a bit a tricky subject. Still, we are an Austrian university, so by law, our language is German. And still, we have a quite international student population. So in practice, within the courses, there is always a solution of integrating all the students. It's a good advice to try to become proficient in German and in English. In German, because it's easier to connect also with some of the teaching stuff that is here for a very long time, but also in the context, in the surrounding of Angewandte, to make friends and to connect. And English, because all those international events, exchanges, they require English language, and language barriers, of course, they are not useful. Yeah, I mentioned HUFAC, the Students' Union. They are elected twice, all 2 years. This year in May or June, there will be another election. They are in charge of representing the students officially because of these elections. They are autonomous. They are self-organized and self-funded. You may have noticed that you had to pay a fee of around 20 euros for the Students' Union. And with that funding, they can do a lot of independent project work. Yeah, that's what they are there for. In case there is a problem, normally this doesn't happen, and I think I didn't have contact with the student ombudsman for a lot of years, but there is also an external student ombudsman at the Ministry of Science and Education. So if there is a problem that can't be solved within the Angewandte, within the bodies that are in charge, together with HUFAC, together with me, then you can still address yourself to the student ombudsman and file a complaint, and then they will try to sort this out. But again, this is nothing that happens usually. Yeah, that we try to keep it that way. So to conclude, there are some basic necessities in addition to all the spaces and freedoms I told you about. Please don't forget to renew your registration every semester. There are always a handful of colleagues that discover when examination time starts that they forgot to register or to renew the registration. And this is really a bad thing, because by law, if you don't register until end of November for winter semester or end of May for summer semester, then you're not a student and you can't become a student for that semester. This is really not a good thing to experience. Please read your emails, although there may be a lot of them these days. But for instance, we will warn you if you are threatened to forget to renew your registration, or you will get relevant information about COVID operations and about a lot of other things. So please make sure you do. Base Angewandte is a tool that has been more and more in use over the last semesters. Teachers are asked and are also required to put all the information, also the most recent information on the base. So for instance, if a course needs to change from present mode into a distance mode because of whatever, then you will find this announced on the base, and you will find all the information there that helps you to join the class again. Please talk about problems, and really talk about problems. Please don't be frustrated, talk about problems. This is really important to your fellow students, to the teachers, to the heads of department if necessary, to the administrative staff, and also to me if a solution cannot be found otherwise. It's a bit much to talk to 1,600 students, so I was mentioning myself on the bottom of the list. But if the other ways don't help, then please come to me. Yeah, and again, try to find your way, not the way of somebody else. Thank you for your attention, and also thank you for your attention, those of you who are attending via live stream. In the welcome, I forgot to welcome you explicitly, but now also you. Thank you for your attention, and there is space for questions, of course. And Jakob, I have no sound. I couldn't hear the applause. So for the questions, it would be good if you could.
Ja, because there's kein Mikrofon für das Publikum. Du hörst jetzt die Fragen.
Okay, there's no extra mic, but the questions will come via mic. So please, if you have a question, just raise your hand. The mic will come to you, and Max Moore, my assistant, will also bring in some questions from the chat if there are any. And please, when you have the mic, just start talking, because I have a bit of a narrow sight, so I cannot see every person.
My name is Jalka, and I just wanted to add, hello, you mentioned that students can get help, can get information, can talk to some people about problems, and we have here since 10 years in the Angewandte the kind of institution for social counseling, social psychological counseling. And this is Alexander Parthe as a psychotherapist, and I do it in counseling. And this could be mentioned in connection with dealing with problems when you address the students.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. This is a good addition. I will take it down for next year, I guess. But there are still a lot of things I didn't mention. I don't want to talk for hours here. So on the website of Angewandte, also under the service menu, you can also find another helpful things, I think. So, sorry, my connection was down for a minute. For some seconds, I hope there was not a question because I didn't hear one.
Bis jetzt keine Frage.
Max, is there anything from the chat? Okay, then I will mention one other thing I forgot. We had this year for the first time a very tight schedule for course registration, because it's necessary that in case there is a COVID infection or a suspicion of COVID within a course, that all the students are informed in very short notice, and also the health authorities can be informed and get the contact data. So this is why the teachers are asked and required to only accept students in classes who are registered for the courses, because only then we have the contact data. It will be possible to register for classes still now, but we had to have this registration period until September the 30th because of all the room bookings. As you notice in the room you're sitting in, there needs to be this special distance setup. So the rooms are much smaller in terms of people than normally, which makes necessary a very challenging task of reassigning all the rooms within a very short time. And this is why we needed to know not the exact number of students, because we were aware that some will only be able to register afterwards, but at least there were some working numbers. So if you have not registered for a course until now, the registration will be opened tomorrow, and you can still try to register. I can't believe there are so little questions, but maybe I'm a bit intimidating with this big appearance here in the front, or it's because of the masks, or it's because everything was so very clear. Yes, please.
Hello. I have a really short and probably not really important question, but I tried to enter a base, and for me it wasn't possible for some reason, and I thought I didn't get which username, but it's the same username you actually use for the other platform as well, where you can check. So actually, yeah, I probably just didn't manage it.
Yes, so you are registered as a student already, because we had also some requests from students who have not yet registered, and of course then they have no access to BASE or anything else. If you can access all the other platforms and just not BASE, then please just write a mail to the BASE support. The address is on the BASE in the public area. It's BASE score support at uni-ak.ac.at, but you have the address there. I think it's better than to try it here. Sorry for the problem.
Hello, I will start the new master program Kunst- und Kulturwissenschaften, and I don't have a user ID yet, so I couldn't officially register for the courses. And do you know when the user or the username and the password and this stuff will be passed to us? Or
yes, I do. So if you loaded up your documents for online admission, then you will receive one first email stating that the documents are complete and that you are asked to pay your tuition fee or the Students' Union fee, if only that is required. And after you have done that, it takes like 4 days of until the money has been transferred to the Angewandte, and then you should get your account data. So if you have already paid and waited for these 4 days and you didn't receive the user data, then something went wrong. In that case, please contact the Office for Student Affairs.
Okay. I think the problem is that I was registered in Hauptuni, and I paid the fee there, and then it was they told me that it was paid. So yeah, maybe that's a problem. So I have to write to the student management, right?
Yes, you can also give me your name and I will try it the short way because this is a bit special.
Okay.
If you want to.
Rebecca Wendeborn is my name.
Hello, Rebecca. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I've got one question because I'll be starting my diploma degree at the site-specific department, and I was just wondering how much the mobility between the various places of the university will be possible. Like, will I be able to, for example, come here and do some work here, or is it sort of like preferred that I stay at my department for the time being?
No, please don't.
Okay.
So for the time being, you have access to your department. That's for sure. You also have access to the central workshops of the Angewandte, ranging from wood, from metal, ceramics. They have their web pages too. And because of the situation, maybe you need to let them know that you want to work there. Some have like some introductory courses because some machines need some security knowledge or some, just some basics. But by all means, this is these workshops are meant to be used by you, and especially in fine arts. There is the idea that the different branches are not separate. It's also possible, like if during your studies you notice that you get very fond of photography, for instance, that you just apply to the photography class with a portfolio of your work, and they can also grant you access to photography then. So that's the idea. And it's also possible to do one guest semester. So for instance, if you study industrial design, you can still for one semester go for fine arts in case the teacher there accepts your wish, and the wish should of course should be based on some work relating to fine arts.
Okay, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much. Also, one more question regarding the library spaces. Like, should I be wanting to do some research? Could I also just pop in there, or is there any sort of like restriction happening there? How's that situation?
At the moment, the library is open, and you can just go there. For the working spaces, they also have. Perhaps I can look it up right now because there is. Normally, you can just use workspaces there if they are free. Perhaps I can show you some source of information. There is the Angewandte COVID page. You should see it by now. Yeah, I can see it in the changing of lights. So there are some general informations, and there is the Angewandte Betrieb. And for all the at the moment we are at yellow. So for yellow, you can read up a lot of things, like what happens in the workshops. There is an English version of this as well. What happens in the artistic courses? What happens in the theoretical courses? Are excursions possible? What about examinations? So I would recommend that you read this column once. And maybe it's also useful to perhaps read the orange column next, in case we might be forced to switch to that. We do not want to switch to the red column, because this would mean that there is a lot of distance and online teaching, and only for graduating students, there are possibilities to still work on site. So we have been there last semester, and we really do not want to go there. That's why we are so concerned about all these security issues.
Hello, I have the same problem as Rebecca, that I don't have the login data for the base, but I send all the data to your colleagues, and I don't have, like, I got no email that something is missing or something is wrong.
Yeah. Still, it can take some days, but again, I can offer you to give me your name, and I can try to find a quick workaround.
Yeah, my name is Alex Grazer with TZ.
Alex Grazer. Okay, thank you.
Couple of questions from the chat now. I will start with the easier ones for you, Bernhard.
Thank you.
The first is, do you have to sign off seminars until a certain date if you can't attend?
This would be very kind of you, because if you do, the places are available and teachers know it early, and so they can assign it to other students who want the place. I have to confess there is no bad consequence for you if you don't sign off in time, but it would be a very nice action towards your colleagues.
And then the next one, I think I can even answer it. Does each student have an assigned student number? Yes.
Yes.
And the other ones are going to the direction of COVID, all of them. So I will just read all of them and then maybe you can explain a little more. The first is, will you be penalized for not attending a seminar because you can't attend? And that I think may be connected to the other one, which is, how is if we miss classes because of the quarantine or COVID circumstances? I think in the following semesters there will be more missing hours because of that than usual. Are there special rules? Yeah.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, penalized is somehow a word that irritates me a bit, because we're not going to penalize anybody. Sometimes there are consequences for something you do or you do not. But well, like if you destroy some parts of the building, that will be penalized, of course. But please don't. No, to be serious again. For missing hours of courses, in case this happens because of COVID, then we will need some confirmation that it's because of that. For instance, a result of a test, a positive or a negative test. Perhaps I show you again some link. There is a document called Handlungsanleitung, like action in case of COVID. There will be a new version, I think, tomorrow, because there were some changes from the side of the government. But the main message is, in case you become a COVID suspect, as I know now, you will there will be a test coming to you by Veloce, in fact. You will have to test yourself and stay at home until the result of the test is announced. In case it's negative, you can come again if you don't have any symptoms. In case it's positive, of course, you have to stay in quarantine. And based on these documents, you can simply prove to us, and also we will inform the teachers of the classes, that this is a special situation and it's not your fault that you couldn't attend class. Some may be able to offer compensation, like giving you a reading list or a special task. So this will not mean when you need to stay at home for 1 or 2 weeks and you are not sick, this will not mean that you will have no work to do and you will have not the opportunity to learn. Some courses will take place online anyway. Some might perhaps find a way to do it in a hybrid way, like we do at the moment, so to let you take part in the class. We have one room at the Angewandte at the moment, and we will have some more rooms during the semester that allow this hybrid participation. And as I said, there will be unexpected situations, and we will try to handle these unexpected situations with the necessary tolerance. But like, if you miss out completely on one class, it will also not be possible to still give you a grading. So there will be some, what's the English word? Gesunder Menschenverstand in judging what happens.
Okay, and then there's one more in this direction. One person registered for a course that is full because of the limited space in times of COVID. Is it possible for other students to participate in distant mode?
I'm afraid I have to say probably not. Depends a bit on what course this is. There are some main art history courses, and I think they're working on online and hybrid solutions because they are needed in all study programs. But we simply do not have the technical equipment, and it's also not just possible to open up a course and put the laptop inside and then the student can participate, because it requires like a very good audio video possibility that all people can see each other. And it's not just one click and you can participate from online. So like at any other university, there are courses with limited numbers. And also normally seminars are open for like for 15 people normally. And if you are the 17th, then you cannot attend this seminar this semester. But hopefully you will find something similar, or you can do something else and try for this seminar the semester after.
And then again, easy ones. The person that was wondering about the student numbers now wants to know, where do you find this student number? And another person wants to know, where do you get the actual physical key, like the key card, to go into the university outside of the opening hours?
Okay. I think who wrote this question, you should urgently go for online admission, because when you are formally admitted to Angewandte, you automatically get your student registration number, and you will also get the login data for base Angewandte and so on. And on this login data form, there is also the information on how to get the key. You can only get the key when you are registered. That's all I have to say on this.
So about the key card, I went to pick up mine and they said that it's not ready yet. So my question is, how do I enter the library, for example?
The library should be open during the opening hours. This is quite simple. You can check it out afterwards. It's just on top of here. So the key card mainly is important, and this is something specific I didn't mention in my talk. Angewandte is I don't know if it's the only university, but Angewandte is open to its students 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So even if the doors are closed and the porters went home, with your access card, you can still access the Angewandte in order to go to your studio rooms, to work on your artistic projects, whatever there is you need to do. In times of COVID, what you cannot do is to gather in the atrium, to meet other students, to party, to go to other departments, even if it's physically possible. We had a very long discussion whether we could keep up this regulation 24/7, and we thought it's really important because it allows you to work and also to make best use of the rooms. But in case of misuse, we will have to make some restrictions even if we don't want to. So please be very responsible on this and use your key cards only to access your own studios. Don't bring friends from outside. Don't do anything you know is not allowed. Yeah, and during the opening hours, the Angewandte is accessible. So there is you don't need to worry if the key card still is not ready, that you will not gain access. I have the feeling there are no more urgent questions here. in this case, I thank you very much for coming here. I also congratulate you again for coming to Angewandte, for making it through the entrance exams. I wish you a very good time here. I hope we will get rid of the masks and of the distances as soon as possible. For the time being, I hope you still get the best out of it. Yeah, as I told you, if there are any issues coming, please don't hesitate to ask. Yeah, I wish you a good start in your respective departments. And yeah, one important thing from the organization, I think you all found the paper sheets on your seats. Please don't leave before you filled in your contact data. In case we should have a COVID problem, you will be informed if one of your neighbors is a suspect case. So you yourself can also react early. Yeah, and when you go out, this is challenging, but I think we need to practice this, like for all the big classes. Please let the last ones leave first. Please don't form big crowds of people. And if you do gather, please try to keep your distance and keep you safe. And I'm jumping again because I think it's good if you understand this. The main element of our whole COVID policy is to see the artistic classes, the departments, as the main collaboration units. So within the classes, still good to be on the safe side, but this is like school classes. They are together and it's fine. But we try not to bring the classes too much in contact with each other, because when there is one case and there is a person that has been in touch in close connection with people from other courses and classes without protection, then we can have quickly a situation where we'll have to lock down bigger parts of Angewandte and not only one department for some days. Yeah, so I think if you understand this and if you can share this philosophy, then that will be a good semester. Thanks for coming. Thank you for your attention and thank you for your questions. Bye.